You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is BRFM. I'm Daniel, and as always, it's great to have you along with us. Now it's time to start reviewing that interview with Paul Best from the Sittingbourne and Kemsley Light Railway. The first thing I asked him was what's been happening this year.
Well, we've been preparing the railway for reopening all the way back to Sittingbourne, which is brilliant. After 3 years and 3 months, we're finally coming back to town, and can't wait. It's just so exciting. Last year we carried out the deferred maintenance of Milton Regis Viaduct so that passenger trains could run on it. So to make sure we got our money's worth, the very last train of the season last year did just that. It went over the viaduct to the gate at Sittingbourne and then went back. So this year we're actually going to go into the station itself. We've had to do an awful lot of work over the winter because with the pipeline removal and the vandalism we've had and the theft, we've had to do a lot of work to smarten the station up and make it at least usable, although we're going to have very basic facilities there because in due course we'll be getting a new building and that'll have a stairway inside and everything else, but of course that's a few years off yet.
Right.
So we're getting there slowly but surely. And on the 6th of April, when we reopen, we'll be back at Sittingbourne, and it's going to be all good fun. And then a week later, we hope to have Leader, one of the original 2 locos, back in steam. And that loco hasn't actually run since 1981. So it's going to be brilliant to see that one running around. You won't be able to miss her because unlike all the other locos, she's privately owned by a consortium and she'll be painted in red rather than green. She's never been green in preservation, and we're going to carry that on through. And I saw some nice photos yesterday on Facebook of the latest coat of paint, and looks absolutely lovely. And then another steam locomotive, Superb, will hopefully return to service later in the summer, which will be very useful for steam and beer in July because the big engines can haul the heavier trains. And having 2 more steam locos will reduce the workload for Amelia, who's been our sole working engine since 2008. All loco, coach and wagon overhauls are carried out in-house at Kemsley Down, with only fabrication of parts sourced externally, which has the benefit of keeping the cost down, but can lead to long periods of unavailability of engines and some of our coaches as well. So it's nice when we can release them back into service.
Yeah. What's a journey like on the railway?
Well, if you've never been before, you're in for a bit of a treat because the railway is like no other. You may have noticed that Sittingbourne isn't exactly the Yorkshire Dales. So you're going to end up getting a bit of an unusual view of Sittingbourne. To board the train, you climb up the steps on the embankment behind Sittingbourne Retail Park. We're sort of hidden around the back of Pizza Hut for our entrance. You go up to the top, you've got the ticket office and the station. And this whole site was the former transfer sidings where the trains of raw materials would come in from Widham Dock, and the finished paper would leave the paper mill. It would all be marshalled up there before going on to its various destinations. And some of the warehouses are where the main part of Sittingbourne Retail Park is now. Or it went across Mill Way into the paper mill itself. And the last remnant of this route is a little stub of bridge behind the ticket office and the buffer stops. And as you come onto the site, you sort of go under that bridge. So that's with the demolition of the paper mill, it's like the last vestiges of the paper mill site. If you've visited before, you're going to notice quite a few changes, but one of the most important is the absence of pipelines at Sittingbourne Viaduct Station and at several other locations along the line. And it used to be one of our calling cards was all the pipes, particularly back in the day when they were leaking steam. And
yeah, I was going to say, I used to remember that as a kid, watching all the steam leaking out of these big pipes as we went along.
Yeah, I'm afraid those days are long gone now, and so are the pipes in many places. The industrial nature of the railway can be fully enjoyed as we depart the station onto Milton Regis Viaduct, which is almost 100 years old and is one of the oldest reinforced concrete structures in the UK, and certainly one of the longest on a narrow gauge railway at almost a kilometre long. It's got 118 spans and 6 bridges, and has so far cost the railway £105,000 in maintenance since the mid-1990s, and all that money comes out the fare box, so we don't get any external funding for it. Our intermediate station is Milton Regis Asda Halt, which is the station that we've been running from for the last year or so. This can be reached from a gate in the fence line Asda in their car park. They've been absolutely brilliant, and they've supported the railway a lot, and even donated a considerable sum for a new station, which we hope to construct in the next few years. And then we pass through Church Marshes Country Park. The marshes on the creek side, the Milton Creek side of the line, are saltwater marsh, and on the Milton Regis side is freshwater, and the railway forms a barrier between the two. And then as you come along towards Kemsley Down, you've got the new Sittingbourne Northern Relief Road, which crosses the track on a bridge, and this is a great place to get pictures of trains. I was allowed to go up there in August. I was given permission to go onto the building site, take photos, and I've got some lovely shots from up there, so I can't wait to go up there. Now it's all fully open to the public. And then as we come up towards Kemsley Down, you've got the paper mill alongside us, and the station itself is almost completely surrounded by the paper mill. Only Milton Creek prevents this, and I like to think of it as like an oasis in the middle of the paper mill.
So when is the railway opening, Paul?
Right, we've reopen on Good Friday, which is the 6th of April, and we're going to have trains departing Sittingbourne Viaduct Station between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. And then on Easter Saturday, trains leave Sittingbourne Viaduct on the hour between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. And then on Easter Sunday and Monday, trains depart on the hour between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. And then we go to every Sunday and Bank Holiday Monday until the end of September. We've got a few special events. Trains leave Milton Regis Asda Halt 5 minutes later, so obviously that's 5 minutes earlier on the way back. The full timetable is available to download from our website. A return trip takes about an hour, but you don't have to rush back unless you've been unfortunate enough to get the last train. You can stay for as long as you like.
Paul, can we go on now to talk a little bit about the special events that are planned?
Yeah, sure. Well, obviously the 6th of April is going to be our big event, the reopening from Sittingbourne Viaduct Station, finally. So we're really looking forward to that. And then on Easter Sunday and Easter Monday, we will be having an Easter egg hunt. So that would be a bit of fun for the kids. Then on the 6th and 7th of May, story time with Jack the Station Cat. It's a series of children's books about Jack the Station Cat, and he comes to the railway every year, and that's 6th and 7th of May. Then the one everybody asks about on the 7th and 8th of July, Steam and Beer,
right,
which is our beer festival with steam trains and fun. And on the Saturday, the 7th of July, is a full day of drinking right until late at night. It's the only chance to travel on the railway in the dark, unless we have particularly poor winter.
Right.
And it's just an absolutely great day out. And then on the Sunday, we have the family day, and you can bring the kids along and have a bit of a rest and drink what's left of the beer if the Saturday people have left anything. And then during August, we also open on Wednesdays as well as the Sundays, so that you don't feel trapped at home. You can come down to the railway for a nice cheap day out, just hang around, bring a picnic or eat at the railway. Just a bit of a rest in the midweek. Then on the 26th and 27th of August, we've got story time with Ivor the Engine, our favourite Welsh loco. And one of our locos turns into Ivor the Engine for the weekend. And we tell stories about Ivor and his adventures. And then we finish the season off on the 29th and 30th of September with our end of season gala weekend. And it's our chance to really play trains, and you can come along and watch some of the crazy antics going on, from demonstration freight trains to mixed trains where you've got some freight and some passenger coaches. And for Santa Specials, we hope to make an announcement in August. We're not 100% certain yet whether we're going to go ahead. Depends on how we do this year and where we can hold it, because the Santa Specials have become so popular over the years that actually it's outgrown the grotto. So we may have to do some building.
Right. So, Paul, how much does a trip cost?
Well, we aim to be a nice cheap day out. And so we've held our prices at the same time as the last time we operated from Sittingbourne Viaduct in 2008. And I won't expect you to remember the 2008 prices. A return trip is £5 for adults and £2.50 for children. That's aged 3 to 13. Under 3s are free. And £3.50 for concessions, and £14 for families of 2 adults and up to 4 children. But special fares do apply for the steam and beer and Santa Specials.
So at the moment we're continuing to review that interview with Paul Best from the Sittingbourne and Kemsley Light Railway. The second part of that interview coming up very shortly after the next track or so.